So the online network test came to an end yesterday and it was devastating, man. I'm pretty sure I'm addicted. And a lot of us got our first taste of CrossWorlds back on the PlayStation 5 through the closed network test, which dropped around 6 months ago? Holy crap, time is flying, man. While playing through the closed network test, I realized, okay, we only got a chance to check out the carts, not the actual extreme gear. So for the longest time, I was absolutely convinced. I really thought that they were going to give us another network test so that way we could check out the extreme gear, and so they would take that feedback into account for the final game because they know how excited we are for that playstyle to return. And also because the first one was PlayStation exclusive, I had a feeling they would release another test available on all platforms to test crossplay, and so we could check out the Switch version and see if it's still, somewhat playable, which by the way I did check out. It's surprisingly not a terrible experience. Obviously it's not going to run at 60 frames per second, but it was pretty smooth for 30 frames per second. Anyways, getting back to the main point, the more time went on since the initial closed network test, the more I started to doubt this theory in my head that we would get another test. A month went by, nothing from the official Twitter. 2 months went by, still radio silence. 3 months, nothing. No news, no leaks. I was like, alright, it's over. We're not getting another test. We're just gonna have to wait till launch to play again. And then literally Labor Day weekend, only a couple days ago, boom, open network test, exactly what I thought in my mind, except way later than I expected it to drop. Don't get me wrong, this was a great way to end the summer with a bang. But because they dropped it only a couple weeks away from the official launch, they're most definitely not going to have enough time to make tweaks to things like stats or balancing in any way. They're most likely focusing on making sure connectivity works perfectly. No timeouts, no server connection issues, reducing latency, things like that. Personally, I think we lucked out because if this beta was anything like the first beta, you know, very unbalanced, the items were just busted, and if the extreme gear wasn't as good as it was, whew, that could have been bad. So thankfully, in my opinion, because everything in this beta was already really well balanced, this felt more like a trial, like an old school demo, more than it did an open network test to me. And that brings us to the point of today's video. As soon as the open network test ended, we immediately got confirmation from the CrossWorlds Twitter that we are getting yet another way to play this game early, which is crazy. I thought it would have been over by now. We're so close to launch. But they said I got one more in me. TLDR, the tweet says that they are going to be releasing another single player demo in mid-September. My guess would be sometime around September 15th. More info coming soon. I think this is smart. Because it's a single player only demo, my guess is they wanted to release this for the people who missed both the closed and open network tests, and I think they definitely saw the overwhelming number of discussions online about this game's price. You know, with this game technically being the most expensive Sonic game to date, which will be a hard sell for a lot of people who only consider this to be just a spin-off racing game, but they are very, very confident about this game. They put a lot into it. This game is going to have a lot of content. It plays incredibly well, and if this game can get post-launch support even 2 years after it releases, we're set. That would be really impressive because that's so difficult to do for any kart racer that isn't Mario Kart. Except for Garfield Kart, you know, the GOAT! Heck, I myself wasn't that convinced of how good it was going to be. It really wasn't until we got more gameplay and the online network test where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sold. This is really good. So yeah, really good move, and in terms of the content for the demo, it's probably just going to be the first Grand Prix and the trials for that Grand Prix. But if they open up the other 2 Grand Prix, hey, that would be nice. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to hear, you know, which of the network tests did you play? Did you play the closed network test, the open network test, and are you going to be checking out the single player demo as well? Catch you in the next one. Peace out. Massive shout out to all the channel members, man. You guys are insane. We got Pack Sonic Gaming, Mr. Needlemouse, Hashim Ali, Speeder Light, Stiffiginer, James, Nostalgia Addict, Goku Black, MLM0130 The Tunes Maker, and Neon Flick. If you'd like to become a channel member, be sure to hit that join button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.